Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
You would remember that when we published the 50th edition of Cut the Clutter last week, we had suggested that you, our listeners, viewers, readers, write to us with questions, ideas and thoughts on what is it that you would like me to declutter. So today's edition picks up a couple of those very important questions. In fact, we've got many interesting questions. I wish I could take up all of them. But let's take up first a very good question from Keshav Prasad, who says that Congress party has so much young talent, Sachin Pilot, Jyotirjit Scindia, Jitin Prasad, Bhupesh Baghel, etc., etc., etc. But BJP doesn't seem to have so much young talent. Why is it so, and what does the BJP do about it? So first of all, there are two reasons. It's a very good question. Two reasons why is it so. One, because Congress is a much older party of power. So Congress has been in power in many of these states for a very long time. So they've been able to build a larger base of talent. Second, simply because it may be a good thing or a bad thing, that we'll debate some other day. Congress is a party where power and talent also travels generation to generation. So because there are family networks, dynasties in the Congress. Sachin Pilot's father was a Congress leader. Jitin Prasada's father was a Congress leader. Almost Jyotirjit Scindia's father was a Congress leader. Rahul Gandhi's mother, father, grandmother, great-grandfather were all Congress leaders. So Congress party has a dynastic tradition. BJP has just begun to, rightly or wrongly, just begun to build a dynastic tradition. You will find in BJP many people who are young dynasts. Dharmendra Pradhan, very bright, is one of them. Oil Minister Piyush Goyal from this city of Bombay, who's now a very powerful minister. He's also the son of Ved Prakash Goyal, who used to be a minister, and like him, treasurer of the BJP. So BJP has some of that talent, but BJP has begun to build some young talent also. Devendra Fadnavis, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, is very young. As I said, Piyush Goyal, Dharmendra Pradhan. There are a few other younger people. But the fact is that BJP is not doing so well in that area. And one reason I would put to this is the disinclination of Modi government to reach out to more talent. They have tended to rely on people sort of the late middle age. They are suspicious of people who are very old, Mr. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi, etc. So they've all been sent away to the Margdarshak Mandal. And at the same time, they haven't quite shown the dash and enterprise that, say, a Rajiv Gandhi had shown in 1985 by inducting very young people. Someone like Chidambaram got a very key position that early, when he was in his 30s. And remember, it was Rajiv Gandhi who, in that limited period of 5 years, when he was Prime Minister, discovered Digvijay Singh, Ashok Gehlot, YSR Reddy, and sent each one of them to their states, large states, saying build the party in your states and don't hassle your chief minister, because one day you will become the chief minister. I presume that's a message that Rahul Gandhi has been trying to give to Sachin Pilot as well. So Congress party did that building of young talent. BJP over the past 5 years did not do it. It became much more of a one-person party, and BJP now has to think about it. So let me conclude this argument by telling you a small story. It's not a story, it's a genuine conversation. So in 1984 elections, you would remember that BJP was so badly defeated that it was reduced to just 2 seats in National Parliament, in Lok Sabha. In fact, Rajiv Gandhi had then famously said कि हमने opposition के लिए 10+2+3 formula बना दिया है. So at that point, I was writing a cover story on for India Today on the state of India's opposition. And I went to see Mr. Vajpayee, who gave me a lot of time. He was a very big-hearted man. I was a very young reporter at that point. And I asked him, don't you think you've suffered from a disadvantage because with Rajiv Gandhi and because so many people that he has brought in, it looked like Congress was a much younger party and you were a much older party. Now this is when Mr. Vajpayee was not that old, and Mr. Vajpayee immediately said, आपकी बात ठीक है, हमको भी कुछ नौजवान टैलेंट ढूंढना है. और उन्होंने कहा कि हमारे पास 2 तो हैं. 2 people you might know. One is Arun Jaitley in Delhi, the other is Pramod Mahajan in Bombay. Remember, this is 1984. Arun Jaitley was really a nobody in politics, not at that level. And Pramod Mahajan, none of us outside of Bombay even knew who that was. So Mr. Vajpayee was able to identify that talent then. And look at the other people he brought in, people like Rajnath Singh, Sushma Swaraj. These were all young people who were brought in, and they were young people of substance who grew up to be big leaders. Compare that with some of the people that the current government has brought in. I'm tired of asking this question, but the minister who has had the most durable job in this government is the agriculture minister, Mr. Radha Mohan Singh. And agriculture is India's most stressed aspect right now for Indian politics and economy and Indian society. And yet, Mr. Modi has not found any talent, younger or older, ideally younger talent, to succeed him or to backstop him. So that's a failure for Modi government, and I do hope if they want to go forward for the sake of young people that they rectify this. Now I have one more question from Mr. Sanjay Rak on why does Modi government keep on getting into trouble with those heading institutions. Again, since we speak from Bombay, we've just had a tamasha in Reserve Bank of India, which is the most important institution housed in Bombay. We've had trouble in CBI, we've had trouble before that in Supreme Court. And I won't be surprised if some more trouble pops up here and there. And the reason for that is that the Modi government has not acquired the patience and the thick skin to understand that there are limitations to a majority. That even if you get 283, even if you get 400, you cannot do everything your own way. Because the way the constitution is set up, there is a lot in the constitution to prevent just this, what we might call majoritarian excess. So just because you have a majority, you cannot write roughshod over everything else, because there is a constitution, there are the laws, and people who head the institutions are set up by the constitution exactly to protect us from majoritarian excess. And people who lead these institutions, they are not elected, but they are appointed to protect the constitution. So the idea that why should we suffer the tyranny of the unelected is actually a completely wrong and undemocratic idea. I think the Modi government has made a mistake by not having the patience to deal with institutions. You have to give space to institutions in a democracy. Because if you don't, ultimately you lose out. Remember, Mrs. Indira Gandhi tried to cater for the same impatience by imposing the emergency and shutting out all institutions. And what happened? One big black mark on her CV or on her obituary or on even every year as we write articles in her memory is what she did during the emergency. This is for a leader who liberated Bangladesh. So it's very important to acquire the patience and the maturity to live with the institutions. I do hope that Modi government and all governments that come will learn that lesson now.